Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me tonight. We are going to be painting a really fun, whimsical painting of a bird, kind of abstract birds flying. Should be really easy, very good beginner project. So let's get started. All right, so here is my example painting. I did this, it was very, very quick. So there's really only like a couple steps to this painting, and you could do this in any color scheme that you wanted to. I'm doing it in blues, blue and green kind of color schemes. We're just using a few colors that are next to each other on the color wheel. So if you wanted to adapt this to a different painting color, like if you wanted to do it in reds or warmer colors, I would just choose some colors, maybe from red to yellow, that'll mix well together. We're going on this end of the scale right here, so we're kind of in this range of colors today, but you can, anything that mixes well together will work for this project. So we've got Hansa yellow, medium, really any yellow will do. This is teal, which is a mixable color. This is phthalo blue, green shade. And teal can be mixed with phthalo blue and phthalo green. So if you have those two and have a little bit of white, you can make this color. Burnt sienna and carbon black, and then this is some white. So very, very simple. Really fun. I enjoyed this. I like this kind of project for a first time painting because it's very adaptable. You can kind of make it your own and no stress. So hopefully no stress. I'll show you how all the way through. We'll be using acrylics tonight. I don't think I mentioned that. And I've got a 9 by 12 inch panel here that's got pre-gessoed, so we don't have to do anything but paint straight onto it. And I'm just going to do the background with some darker colors, because what we're going to do is paint on the background first, where the birds are, and then we're going to paint around them. So we'll be painting the negative space, it's called, that's around our subjects. And so right now the first layer is going to be the birds themselves, and so I'm going to put on a nice dark blues. That might be too dark, so I might add a little tiny bit of white to it, just to, there we go, soften it up a little bit. I don't want it to look completely black. I want a little bit of color in there. And I'm just using a large flat brush. Any large flat will do. This one is my number 12 Bright from Princeton, and the link is down in the description for all the materials and colors and paints and things that we're using tonight. So if you want to look those up, you can. I'm going to grab a little bit of water and a little bit of burnt sienna with my phthalo blue, and these two colors together make a really pretty kind of greenish teal. I have to add a little bit extra blue in this one, so I'm just kind of putting it on and in whatever direction I want. Really only a little bit of this is going to show up, so most of this is just going to be kind of expression, whatever. If you got some stress today, you can put it out on the canvas. I've got my husband Mark here with me. I forgot to mention that. Sorry, Mark.
Hey there, everybody. I was just going to say hey there, everybody, on my own when I got a break.
Sorry. I'm just on it tonight.
I know,
I'm like
you're all up in it.
I am. I'm getting this done.
We got a question asking, what brush are you using?
This was the number 12 Bright from Princeton. And it's the link down in the description to thebrushguys.com, where you can order these, and they're discounted, and they're also you get an extra 5% off by using my code AngelaFineArt at their website. So if you go there, follow the link, and it'll take you to my recommended brushes. I've got all kinds of different brushes on that list that I use in my videos. So it's got a lot more brushes than you'll need for this project. So I feel like you need to go out and buy the whole list right away. But there, I'm going to add a little bit of teal just here and there, just to kind of lighten up and give it a little bit extra sort of interest. Set our birds. Give a little bit more of that phthalo blue. Okay, I'm going to give this to you, honey, to dry, if you don't mind. Sorry. Mark's my hair drying expert.
I'm gonna see how it sounds with the new mic.
Oh, that's right. I've got a new microphone. It might pick up the hair dryer pretty more.
Oh, it will.
It will.
Oh,
Okay.
it will.
Okay. Here you go.
Go get a drink or something.
Yeah. You could mute my mic while we're doing this. You probably should.
Well, what are they going to do?
I don't know. They're going to just look at my beautiful painting and
Just talk louder.
shouldn't be too bad. Talk louder than the... All right, I want to put out some more Phthalo Blue here because I'm going to run out. We probably won't need a whole lot of it, but we might want to add a little bit more in. I mean, honestly, this painting is going to be very, very short tonight. Like, I think I got this done in like 15-20 minutes at home today, and I was working out, how to do it. This is my example painting, or example photograph. I should show that. It was a black and white bird, so I wanted to add a little bit of color, but you could do it in black and white. It would look lovely. But I kind of wanted to capture this kind of blurry effect that has around their wings there. So that's what I'm trying to get there with, like, this one is this bird and this one is this bird. I just picked out a few of my favorite silhouettes. And I got this off of Pixabay, but you could, find any pictures on the internet that you liked of birds and just kind of adapt it. There's that one there. So, okay, good. See, we filled it. We killed the time. There we go.
That Pro 1500 does a great job.
What are you talking about? Your
The blow dryer.
blow dryer.
The Pro 1500,
The Pro
baby.
1500.
Yeah, only the pros use it.
The
That's
pros
in the
use
name.
it. I see it. I see. Okay.
It's not an amateur 1500.
Okay. Okay. I'm just going to keep on moving on here. All right. So for the birds, this first one, I'm just going to do this one here. I probably should have had this picture up in the corner there, but I don't have it for you. Sorry. Okay. So I'll draw out this one, these two. And hopefully I don't have any paint on the back side of this. It's going to get on my original. So we'll do this first one. This one is going to be kind of a point and round belly. So kind of just like an S shape right there. And then the head is going to curve this way and kind of fan out like that. Now these edges are going to be very blurred, so we don't have to get super detailed with the wings or any of that. We're just going to kind of try to outline sort of where we want the blurriness to start. So that's our first bird there. Does that make sense? And this is probably a little bit thick for it. We might make it a little skinnier there. Like that. Okay, then this one we're going to put up here. And I'm just kind of fitting in as many birds as I can, so you can get as crazy as you want with yours. So here's this S shape, right, for the back. I think these are doves. They've got that kind of sloping body shape in the big bellies. So like this. You can't see his beak. I think the beak's kind of pointing out straight at us in this one. And then this wing kind of comes off like that. And then this one sort of curves up from here. Like that. Okay. Let's do this one. This one is kind of pointing this way. And there's this long arc of wings. Kind of comes in and then fans back out. That might be a little bit more. It might be a little bit more like that. Comes all the way out to here and all the way up around his body there. Okay. Just keep on moving. There's a little one right here. Yeah. It's pretty close to this one, so I'm going to get it pretty tight in, and the wings kind of go like that. And then now I will have a traceable for this, so if drawing kind of gives you hives and you just don't really like to do it, there's a traceable that will be available on Patreon. or you can even take a screenshot at the very beginning of the video and trace straight off of your screen. I've seen that done, and actually the light from the screen will give you a good area to be able to see how to draw it. So just use tracing paper right on top. Just don't get it on your screen. But that is perfectly fine. Okay, so for a wiggle, the heads are like these little circles here. So if you want to start there, by drawing a circle, if that helps you, and then draw like an egg shape, and then kind of taper out your tail from there, and that might help. And then this wing is kind of sort of in that shape, and then this one comes up right by the head and sort of does like this, like that. These fun. All right, then this one is kind of overlapping each other a little bit. It's a little bit farther down, so we'll make sure we've got room for his wings right here and right here. And then body kind of comes down to a point and does this rounded shape like that. There's another one underneath. Well, actually, let's do this one.
We got a question.
Yes.
Somebody asked if you are using a blending medium with the acrylic for the background.
I did not, no. But you could, if you wanted to. I just used straight paint, so I didn't need a blending medium, but I just put it on fast. You don't really have to worry too much with this one, about the drawing or how it's going to look. Because if you look, only this much of your birds are going to show. So only a very small amount of what you paint in the background is going to show. But when we put these other layers on top, a little bit of that background color is going to peek through. We're going to put it on kind of dry brush, so it's going to age and look, a little bit of this blue is going to peek through in places. So that's why we did the whole background blue like this and didn't just paint around our birds or paint them in solid. This one looks kind of weird. I'm going to make his head a little smaller. Okay. And this one's got one right down here. It's like a little bullet shape almost. The wings coming forward in this way. When I looked at the image, I really just tried to pick different birds in different poses so that I got a really good variety of different body shapes and sizes and all that good stuff. I kind of crowded this guy out a little bit. I kind of wish I'd moved everything that way a little bit more. You see, I might move this guy up a little bit so he's got more room. Actually, that's wrong. You know what? I'm going to move this one over. I just feel like it needs more room right here. So I'm going to move him.
I was thinking that.
You were thinking that?
Yeah,
like
you
he's
just
crowding
didn't.
Everybody out.
Yeah, you didn't have the negative space properly proportioned there. If you had watched my Stickman video, you would have known.
I see.
That
Sorry.
the negative space draws your eyes towards someplace.
Okay. Thank you, honey.
That's what I'm here for.
Towards someplace.
Yeah, someplace
Very vague.
positively. That's what the negative space does.
Thank you. I appreciate that explanation. It makes a lot more sense now.
Sounded pretty artsy, didn't it?
It did. It sounded like you knew what you were talking about.
Thanks.
Okay, so I'm needing this bird here. Why did I do this one? He's down here. He's here. Okay. This one. I don't know how I fit all these birds in here. I'm kind of like running out of room. I guess I should have started on this side. They're all like competing for a space over here. Okay. I guess I should have done like they do in the cooking shows and had it like pre-sketched for you. So I just like pulled it out from behind something, and it was already like all sketched out and ready to go. But the nice thing about using chalk is you can erase things and move things around if you need to make changes. Okay, and there's this bird here. I'm going to put this bird over here because he's just not going to fit over here. Or actually, I'm going to put this bird over there.
I have now been referred to as the dude.
The dude.
In chat.
Nice.
What movie is that from?
Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski. So no, I'm not the dude. I'm just the husband.
Celebrity husband.
And I apologize for sounding like I'm on NPR. I'm trying something new with the mic.
Oh, are you?
So it's not so clicky over here.
Ah.
I'm just sliding
I'm putting this one. Oops, wait.
the volume up and down if anybody was wondering. I know they were sitting at home going, what the heck? His mic sounds weird. That chalk comes through loud and
really
clear.
well because you got to point it straight down at it now.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like nails on chalkboard.
No.
Okay.
It's good.
So I think that's good. We moved this one out from the middle of this and kind of so it wasn't so crowded. I actually kind of like that composition. It kind of does this S shape here. But it does have two birds. Well, there's three here stacked. Okay, so that's better. I may make this one a little bit smaller too. When I paint it in, I think I'm going to make it a little bit tinier. Just to give it a different variety of sizes. Okay, so that's all the drawing portion of it. Really not too hard, and honestly you could do all the birds. If you have one particular bird shape that you like, you could repeat it and just call it good. You don't have to do it like I'm doing it, so not gonna offend me, trust me. It's your painting, you do what you like with it. All right, so now we're just gonna start putting in some of these colors from our background. I'm going to start with white and pick up a little bit of teal. Kind of a light teal color. And we'll start in this bottom area here and we'll very lightly come around the birds and start to brush in their shapes. So, and then when we get to these open areas, what I'm going to do is sort of think about the way the air is moving. This is going to sound really weird. Mark's going to laugh at me because it's very artsy, but think about the way that the air might be flowing from their wings. So, yes. So, your brush strokes will kind of follow that. So kind of get in the shape, the mode of, whatever we're seeing here. So if my brush strokes, if my feathers are kind of going up in this direction, I'm going to do some this way. And then as I get to this bird, I'm going to swoop it around it like this. Join those up a little bit. And they don't have to cover completely. And at this point, we really probably don't want them to. We're just going to kind of lightly trying to outline these shapes and flick in some direction to our birds. So as it comes out this way, I'm going to go in this direction with it and sort of pull down into the wing so that this area is sort of blurred. And don't worry too much about blending any of this right now. We're just kind of laying it in, and if you've got any areas that need to be blended later, we can do that. But Right now we're just kind of enjoying the bird shape, sort of thinking about what might be happening around them with the airflow. Are you feeling it, hon?
I'm feeling it.
Good.
What am I feeling?
The flow.
Oh, yes. Definitely. I'm feeling the flow.
You can zoom in a little bit, I think. I'm going to grab some yellow.
I was not ready for that. Hold on.
Okay.
Get this remote control here. We'll zoom in.
Do some yellow up here at the top.
Oh, now you're out of the
Okay.
thing.
Pull it down here. There we go. Now this is a pretty vivid color, so grab some more of my teal here, sort of blend those together a little bit. Now this one is coming in against this, so I don't want this hard line right here, right? So I'm going to start pulling some brush strokes in this way. I don't want to go all the way to the body though. I just kind of want to blur out the edges of those wings. So, and then where these two are meeting, I'm just going to kind of tap in and sort of blend those out a little bit so that those colors kind of combine a little bit. The nice thing about this too is that because all of these colors are going to blend well together, you don't really have to worry too much about what color you pick up next. You can kind of let it be sort of intuitive. Let's see what happens when we put a little bit of the phthalo blue in with this color. And let's add some of that in here and see what happens. So we can kind of mix and match the colors in our palette. And we know they're all going to blend well together. Oops. Honey.
Were you off camera?
Yes.
Okay, hey, you were off camera there.
Thanks.
Do you want me to zoom out?
A little too late. It's okay.
Somebody did ask, while I was reading the questions here, somebody did ask, why did you decide to do it this way? Meaning painting the background dark and then draw on and then paint around them.
Because I think it gives a little bit of a different, more painterly look. It's just a little bit of an artistic choice, really. There's really no right or wrong way to do it. I could have painted in the birds, but I think this way gives it more character in and around having these dark areas underneath. It kind of leads your eye around the painting a little bit and makes you wonder what's going on behind it. It just gives it another extra layer of interest and detail that you wouldn't have gotten if you had just painted it straight with bluebirds on a, on a colorful background, if that makes sense. So I'm going to get some of this light color here and just put that between the wings there. And I think it adds to that kind of sense of movement too, to do this kind of real abstracted sort of wing shapes with these really interesting colors and movement around it.
And it's definitely an interesting way to do it.
Yeah.
I think it's,
Yeah, it's definitely a different technique. We really haven't done anything quite like this before. So, and I've been wanting to because I really love that style of painting. I love it when you can see that there's layers that have been covered over with solid paint. Because you're always seeing a little bit of the underlayers through, and it just, I don't know, I think it adds something to the painting. So
It is making you think outside the box, that's for sure.
Yeah. Yep, just another technique that we can try. That's just trying to kind of give you some options for things that you might not think about doing. Things you might want to try, some different techniques and things. Let's use some darker blue over here and we'll just... Okay. Use some of that darker blue in the corner there. Yeah, we're kind of creating these little, swirling shapes of color. Grab some more white, blend that in a little bit.
And the question is, are you dry brushing?
No, this is pretty, well, it's a little bit dry brushing. I mean, I don't have a ton of paint on my brush, but it's not technically dry brushing. What I am doing is kind of flicking it in a way that is allowing the texture of the canvas to pick up on the paint. So it's definitely not a thick paint application, but it's thicker than normal dry brushing. So it doesn't really explain very well. But
Okay, and when you did your example on your...
Usually with dry brushing, I would wipe it off. So this is what I would consider dry brushing. So this would be dry brushing here, where you're just barely dusting the canvas with a little bit of paint. And this is a little bit thicker than that. So going a little bit thicker, but we still are wanting to catch a little bit of the texture like this is. So go ahead, sorry.
When you did your example on your pad there, did you treat the paper with anything beforehand, or did you just paint it straight up?
Yeah, I just straight paint on it. So I don't usually treat the canvas pads or the mixed media pads, but if you're having trouble, you can gesso your paint pad or your mixed media paper.
Because it absorbs so much paint.
It does. It
right?
absorbs a ton of paint, and so it can be hard to paint quickly enough to get a blend with it. But I didn't find this one to be too difficult with it, because you want the kind of texture to show through, so it wasn't too bad. But you can always add a little bit of glazing medium too. I've got acrylic glazing medium here, and that'll extend your paint a little bit, so you could add that into your paints while you're working on the paper, and it'll help give you a little extra drying time if you're struggling with that.
To let you know, I just hit thumbs up.
Thank you.
I'm liking this video.
Thank you. Yeah.
You're welcome.
If you are a first-time watcher tonight, we welcome. We're really glad to have you. We are all about helping you learn to paint in a fun, non-judgmental, relaxing environment, making it as easy as possible for you to learn how to paint with some fun projects that you can be proud to show off to your friends and quickly gain some skills. If you always wanted to paint and you didn't think you could, I want to encourage you that it is possible, and the projects that I do, especially on Tuesday nights, are geared just towards beginners like you who really want to paint but don't exactly know how to start. These projects can help you gain some confidence, and then my Saturday classes are a little bit more advanced, so if you've want to have a little bit of a challenge, some of those projects will take your skills to the next level, hopefully.
If you hear a major crash from over here, it's just me swatting at this gnat.
Oh my goodness, those are so annoying.
I was like, what am I doing? I'm about to knock something over here.
Mark's over there. Ninja fighting with a gnat.
Exactly. The video of me just going crazy.
Okay, so if you get to where you're covering too much of your bird, don't worry about it, because what we'll do is we'll go back in after we get these kind of negative space in, and we'll add a little bit of color to the middle of our birds just to kind of spice it up. So don't worry too much about that.
That's birdie spice.
Bird spice. Birdie spice. Yeah. Oh gosh.
This is what you get after I've been on a long weekend.
Yeah.
Back to work.
Back to work for the first day in 3 days. That was good. We took Monday off, so usually do a Monday art chat and Thankful Art, my Facebook group, and we didn't do that. I feel a little guilty when I play hooky, but it's nice to have a little break every now and then.
I may have influenced that a little bit.
Yeah, you did. It was Mark's fault.
Just a little bit. It was mostly her fault.
Okay, so just mixed a little bit of the teal with the yellow here. It's off camera again there.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be painting it.
Okay.
So whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
So
that portion I'm making people pay for. They get most of it for free, but if they want to see that part.
The bottom half of the canvas is paid only.
Exactly.
Okay, I'm adding a little bit of black here. Just give it a little darker. Kind of tone down the color a little bit. And grab a little bit of my lighter colors and blend those in.
Softly quiet in here.
I know,
You're just thinking?
really fun. Yeah, no, I mean, there's not a lot to explain. It's just kind of laying in color.
Not to you, maybe, because you're a professional.
Well,
Having done one flower and whatever I did the other day, it's not as easy as you make it look, for
okay,
sure.
Sorry.
Trying to put
You
in
want to do one?
putting in that cloud. No,
You come do some.
no, I'm okay.
Okay.
Well, we'll see what happens in chat.
Yeah, you know they're gonna want you to do it. Okay, grabbing blue here, just adding some Phthalo Blue. We've got a little bit of white mixed with it. Add a little bit of that around here. Do a little bit darker corner over here. Just changing direction every time I come to another bird. I kind of trying to figure out how to transition between them. So this one, you've got your wings kind of pointing down, and then this one's going to be sort of coming in the opposite direction. So I'm just going to kind of try to gentle that transition a little bit. Might make it a little bit solid. and then flick from the outside. I found that to keep the inside from getting too thick, if I pulled from the outside in with the wings, it kind of helped keep that part that I wanted soft. There, like, and I'm using my Filbert. I didn't mention that, sorry. This is my number 4 Filbert, but you could use whatever brush you're comfortable with. So if you have a favorite brush and that you think would work for this kind of blending, grab it. By all means, use that. I'm using the rounded edge because even though the you know, if a brush stroke was happened to show, the edges would be rounded, so kind of helps to blend a little bit for this kind of thing. I don't know, I just really like this kind of look. I know it's definitely different. I didn't get a whole lot of thumbs ups on it when I posted it in my group, so I'm worried. People are like, what is she doing? But gotta try something new every now and then. Keeps it interesting. And I've done birds before, but I've never done them quite like this. So I'm grabbing some yellow here. We'll add
Okay, I hope you know what this question means, because I sure don't.
okay.
They asked, can you show the bead on your brush? I only get 3 strokes before I need new paint on it.
Okay. Yes. Show how I'm loading it. That's just, they mean, you know, how much paint is on my brush. So it's about like that. Well, there we go. So it's only the top, you know, the top half, and really the top quarter of it that's got the paint, thick paint on it. And I'm putting the thicker paint when I first load it. That's when I'm going right up next to my bird, at least the body part of it. That's where I want my most defined lines on the bird. The rest of the bird, the wings and such, will be with the sort of feathery brush strokes, more undefined. But the line around the bodies I want fairly solid. I'm still sort of blending them out, you know, and blending them into the colors around, but I'm putting more paint on my brush when I first go to that area. And then right in here in between the wings too, where I want that body defined, the shape defined a little bit more. This one kind of lost its...
When you have a break, we have a request to see the bird pick again.
Oh, yes. So this one here is, which one? This one, I think. No, not that one. This one is this one right here. And then this one is, I don't know where I got this one from. I must have pulled it from over here, maybe. This one is this one right here. So it's got this long wing shape that actually does kind of like that. And then this one sort of blends into it. This one's got just all kinds of weird blendy things going on with it. So I really mainly is just kind of trying to get those body shapes and then just sort of the main direction of the wings, and the rest of it is very fuzzy. So that makes it nice for this kind of blendy technique. Okay, so we're pretty much done with filling in the birds. I'm going to switch to a little bit smaller brush and get a round here. This is a number 2 round with the Princeton. And I'm going to wet my paper towel and just sort of dab off the chalk lines, and then we can kind of reveal our birds a little bit better, see where they're at, see what we need to do to define them a little bit more. Don't wipe too hard or you'll pull off the paint underneath. There we go. Okay, see, already we've got kind of that movement. That's the whole idea, is just to get that kind of movement from our birds. This one's looking a little bit like a bullet. I don't know what happened to it. It looks like he's pointing downwards. This is his face. So we'll just try to define him a little bit more. Grab a little bit of color here, put around it. I'm going to use my finger in this case to just kind of blend it out a little bit. And then I'm going to grab the Phthalo Blue, a little bit of black, and use it on the inside of his body and just kind of define out some of the darkest areas. See that? Just a few little brush strokes. Go ahead and zoom in for this one so we can see sort of what we're doing here. There we go. That's good. Okay. I'm going to pull some out this way too, make it a little bit. There we go. We don't want to fill in the whole body, but we're just going to kind of add a little bit of detail if we need it, just to kind of help define these birds a little bit.
So you want the body to be defined, but the wings a little bit more wispy.
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking like I'm painting along over here.
Right.
You never know. I might be.
Okay, I'm going to grab some Phthalo Blue here and a little bit of white. Just a tiny bit. And I'm going to use a little bit of that on the inside of. Give it a little bit of softer color right there. Sorry. When I get thinking, I talk really quietly.
I know you start whispering and everybody's like, what is she saying?
What is she saying? Okay, there. Better? Okay. I'm going to leave some of them a little bit undefined, like this one is kind of blending into that, and I kind of like that. It's almost like the sun's hitting it and fading out the back feathers, so they don't all have to be super defined. In fact, it's probably better if they're not all kind of...
We have a question.
Yes.
Asking, could you use a rake brush to do the wings?
You could, yeah. Yeah, you could.
I'll follow that up with, can you use a toothbrush? That's one I'm most comfortable with.
The toothbrush.
Yeah, I have the most experience with that.
No, probably not. I mean, whatever floats your boat, though. If it works for you, that's what you should use. So.
Well, last show I was like, well, I can't paint UFOs. And now I can't use my toothbrush. I don't know about this channel anymore.
Are you feeling repressed, honey? Sorry. Not my intention. I didn't say you couldn't paint it. I just said it would be harder to draw it. If anything you have real hard preconceived notions of what they're supposed to look like, it's harder to, your mind fights you when you paint it, draw it. It's just a fact of life. Not saying it's impossible, it's just a little bit more, makes it a little more challenging. Okay. Don't get too caught up in the fact that some of these are not going to make a whole lot of sense. Like this one here is a very weird shape. That's this guy here. So it's not going to look like a bird, but just kind of trust what you're seeing here. So, we're hitting all of these, the main shape. Your eye will fill in the rest. Now, if I need to, I can go back in with some of the teal and kind of clean up around the edge of some of these. Add smaller brush strokes too. A little bit of that black. A little bit of the blue. Here we go. This one's a little bit softer color than they were over there. Add some more length to these wings. Some white here. I'm just going to use my finger to sort of blend it out a little bit. Adding little tiny touches. If you get too much paint, too thick, just use your finger and kind of dab it off a little bit. Don't want anything to look too harsh. Lost the head on this one. Actually, I don't know if that's head's not quite that big. Maybe closer down here. Grab a little bit of white. We'll just cover up the part we don't want. There we go. And then just make sure we blend that in to the background. Just pulling it out from that area. There we go. Okay. What time is it? About an hour, so we did good. I'm going to make this head a little bit smaller. Okay, last one down here.
Somebody asked what the inspiration was for your color choices.
I don't know. These are my favorite colors, so I figured it was kind of sky colors, you know, blues. So I thought that that would be pretty. But you really could do this any colors you wanted to. I just...
Oh, come on. You can get a much better artsy answer than that. The tension between the light and the dark, the good and the evil.
Right.
Bursting forth on the palette.
Blue's a, you know, color of serenity, so it's a good color for birds. How's that? Is that better?
Yeah, not as good as mine, but it'll do.
I did like yours. That was pretty deep. Pretty deep. Okay, I think we're about done. And last thing to do is to take our fan brush or a toothbrush. So here's where the toothbrush comes in, hon. You weren't too far off. And we're gonna grab some white and some more teal, maybe a little bit of yellow. Make kind of a light green color. And then water it down really well. So it's nice and soupy. It'd be kind of milk consistency. And we'll see how this color goes. Yeah. It'll show up on some of our darker areas. We'll flick that on. And we can add a little bit of Phthalo Blue. Got a little bit of white in it still. Tap that off and then flick it. Just tapping with the end of my finger to get some little splatters.
Okay, if you're quiet, I think we can hear the dog snoring.
So too. Okay, there we are. And we could go in and add more white if you wanted to make it brighter in places or whatever. My drawing or my original example has a little bit more white in it, a little bit more contrast. So
And some sticks of some kind.
oh yeah, I did do some sticks in here. Let me do that really quick. We use that light.
And speaking of sticks.
Oh, stick man. Okay. Just pulled up some light brush strokes from the bottom there to a little bit of movement in the grasses or something. And you could go through and grab some of the pure white. And just add it a little bit here and there. Now my paint is still a little bit wet where I just put it on for the splatters, so I don't want to do too much of this, but a little bit of white can help. Just pull out some movement and blend over some of these areas if you want a little bit of blending happening. There we go. All right, let's get Stickman here. He gets himself a blended bird today. Stickman is our mascot. Mark drew him for us, and I add something to him depending on whatever it is we're painting that day. So we'll give him a little blue bird up here in the sky, flying around. Oh, it's a little wet. A little wet. And we're on paper, so I can't really wipe it off at this point. I'm just gonna have to go with it. There we go. You got some bird. You got a bird flying. There. Get something depending on whatever it is we're painting. We got a red starfish for last Tuesday.
Man, he looks awesome in 1080p.
I bet. I bet. I've got I paint on my arm there. I don't know how that happens, but all right. And then if you'd like to sign your painting, you could use a paintbrush with thin down acrylics or a Pigma pen or something like that. This one's a Sakura Pigma. I think I've got a link down in the description to my Pitt pen that I also like to use. Faber-Castell Pitt pen, but I'm going to sign it. These are waterproof and fade resistant, so they'll last just like acrylic paints will. And there we have it. So I hope you try this. If you do, please share it with me on my social media. I've got all the links down in the description if you want to join me on Facebook or Patreon to get the traceables or anything like that. All those links are down in the description. And we really appreciate you joining us tonight. And we will see you next time. On Saturday, we've got finger painting. Woo. So that should be fun. We'll be doing a big mum flower with fingers. Should be fun. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bye.